G'day mates, today's video is sponsored by sleephq.com. On SleepHQ you can upload and share your CPAP data with anyone and from any device that can read an SD card. Visit sleephq.com and sign up for a free account today. G'day mates, my name's Nick and welcome to my channel CPAP Reviews. Today I'll be showing you how to access the clinical menu on the iBreeze CPAP machine. Now the manufacturer of this device is ResVent, and most of you watching will have a ResVent iBreeze. Now my iBreeze is a Smartmed iBreeze, which is like a rebranded version of the ResVent one. The menu systems are really similar, but I just thought I'd point it out because there might be a few little differences and I don't want you to get too confused, okay? But most of the stuff's the same, so you should be okay. Now for those of you that don't know, the clinical menu is the advanced menu. It's where your clinician can go to change things like your therapy pressure levels, your therapy mode, and turn off and turn on some of the more advanced features. So if you want to be a pro at CPAP therapy, I really encourage you to learn how to do more of the advanced stuff. And to do that, you need to access the clinical menu, which I'll show you today. All right, let's dive in. Now to access the clinical menu on the iBreeze, we need to rotate the dial down to settings. So settings is highlighted. And now we hold in the click wheel and the ramp button, which is the top right button next to the power button at the same time. So hold the two buttons in simultaneously and then we're in. And you can see now on the left hand side it says doctor. So we're now the doctor taking care of our own health. Now up the top here we have our mode, our therapy mode. And if I click the click wheel in, it shows you the different modes we have. So we've got two CPAP modes, CPAP and CPAP-V, and two APAP modes, two automatic modes, APAP and APAP-W. Now, like I said, your machine might not have all these modes. These are all the modes my machine has, so I'll run through them. And hopefully your machine has some of these modes, so you can just follow along with whatever mode you have. All right, let's start with CPAP mode, shall we? Now, for those of you that don't know, the beginners, CPAP mode is fixed pressure delivery, which means the machine will deliver one set level of pressure throughout the night. It won't vary that pressure like an automatic device. We're in the driver's seat. We tell the machine what pressure to deliver, and it pushes out that exact pressure. And you can see here, currently, this machine is set to 10. Now, we can increase or decrease that pressure by pressing in the wheel and rotating anti-clockwise to bring that pressure down. We can go down to 4, which is the lowest, or we can rotate it clockwise, crank it right up to 20, which is hurricane force. So the idea with fixed pressure, CPAP mode, is to find a good level of pressure that's going to control the majority of your sleep apnea throughout the night. And you can do this with a little bit of trial and error, but a lot of people also go and do a CPAP titration study in the hospital where they wire you up and video you throughout the night and manually titrate your pressure levels. But you can do this yourself as well. Now, next door to that, we have eComp. And eComp is kind of like beginner mode. It reduces that prescribed pressure by 50% in the beginning, and then it gradually increases it one centimeter per night. So let's just use 10 as an example. Instead of starting at 10, it'll start at 5, and then the next night it'll move to 6, to 7, to 8. You get the picture. If we have eComp off, then it will just start at 10. All right, let's go back up to the mode. Next door we have CPAP-V. Now CPAP-V is like a titration mode. Let's just say I'm a clinician and I don't know what pressure to set for my patient. But at the same time, I don't want them on automatic all the time. So I want them on fixed pressure mode, but I don't know what pressure to set for them. What you can do is you can use this CPAP-V as like a titration mode. So you can see here, it's got a titration time, 7 days. And we can set a min pressure and a max pressure. So it will function as an automatic machine for those 7 days. But after those 7 days, it will use the data from the automatic mode from those 7 days to set a fixed pressure for the patient. Does that make sense? I'm confusing myself here. Basically, it's like using automatic mode to determine a suitable fixed pressure mode for the patient. All right. And now we have the two automatic modes, APAP and APAP-W. Now that W stands for woman, and they're very, very similar, these two automatic modes. It's just the pressure changes with the woman version are a little bit softer. All right, let's start with APAP. Now, when it comes to auto mode, we can set a min pressure and we can set a max pressure. And the machine will vary the pressure between these two values, the pressure range, in response to how we're breathing. That's how it works. So you can see here our max is set currently to 12, which is as high as the machine can go. And then our min set to 4, which is the base level, as low as the pressure can go. And we also have this R care, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But we can change these values. Okay, once again, we can rotate it up a little bit if we want our pressure levels to be able to go higher than 12. Or we might like to start the therapy a little bit higher as well, so there's more airflow, okay? So you can adjust these pressure levels, this pressure range, to suit your needs. R-care is certainly a tricky one to explain, but I'll do my best. So normally, as the settings are now, when we hit that start button, the pressure's going to start around 6, which is our min level. When we switch R-care on, instead of starting at 6, the machine will check out the pressure stats from the previous night, and it picks out a value which is what's called the 95th percentile pressure level from the night before, and it uses that as the starting pressure. So normally what that means is the starting pressure is much higher. And the idea of this is that instead of waiting for the pressure to gradually ramp up over time, the pressure level starts closer to where it needs to be. So if you're someone who's really struggling to get your apnea-hypopnea index under control, you might be having a lot of apnea in the beginning of the night when the pressure is quite low, because it takes time for that pressure to build up. So you might want to switch R-care on. But I think for most of you, you're going to want to start at a lower pressure in the beginning of the night because it's more comfortable. So you can trial it on, trial it off, see what works for you. But I think for most of you, you're going to want to switch it off. That's the best I can do on that one, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so that's APAP, and APAP-W is basically the same. P max, P min, R-care. And that's pretty much it. So in order to exit the clinical menu, we just go down to settings and hold in the click wheel and the ramp button, which is that top right button next to the power button. Hold them both in again. And then we're back out to the patient menu. Now, obviously there's the settings and comfort and humidity and all that stuff, which is in the patient menu. I won't go through that today because it's already long enough as it is. I just wanted today to show you the clinical menu where you can change things like your therapy mode, CPAP, CPAP-V, APAP, APAP-W, and where you can change your pressure levels, your P-min, your P-max, and so on. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share it with your mates, and as always, have a great night and look after your mates. See you soon. Bye.